Let's start with a fact. Every Thursday morning, millions of people around the world watch closely as the Department of Labor releases the latest initial jobless claims figures. Why? Because these numbers provide important insights into the health and direction of the economy, offering an early indication of labor market trends. Jobless claims represent the number of workers filing initial claims for unemployment insurance each week. This metric serves as a real-time indicator of the health of the labor market, reflecting trends in layoffs and firings by employers. A significant increase in jobless claims can often be an early warning sign preceding an economic recession. Imagine you're looking at your smartphone on Thursday morning, and you see that 300,000 people filed for initial unemployment insurance claims last week. That's up from 250,000 the week before. What does this mean? It means more companies are cutting jobs or laying off workers faster than they were a week ago, indicating potential weakness in the job market and economy. Let's dive into how jobless claims work. Step 1. Workers lose their job and file for unemployment benefits. Step 2. Local agencies collect these applications. Step 3. The Department of Labor compiles the data and releases initial claims for unemployment insurance weekly on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Now, here's a key fact. Not everyone who loses a job files for unemployment benefits immediately. Some people might find another job quickly or wait to see if they can be rehired by their previous employer. However, when you observe jobless claims rising sharply week after week, it often indicates that layoffs are widespread and the economy may be facing difficulties. For example, leading up to the 2008 financial crisis, jobless claims were rising steadily for several months prior. Those who monitored this indicator could have recognized signs of an impending recession well ahead of broader market awareness. So how do you read these numbers? A good rule of thumb: if initial jobless claims stay under about 325,000 per week, it generally indicates a healthy labor market with fewer layoffs than hires. But when they rise above 400,000, that's a red flag signaling potential economic downturn and increased layoffs as companies tighten their belts. Now let's look at what these numbers mean for you. If jobless claims spike, it might indicate the need to tighten your budget and build up your emergency fund. Why? Because an increase in jobless claims often signals an economic downturn, which can lead to companies cutting back on hours or benefits and potentially making finding new work take longer than usual. But here's the basic truth. When jobless claims are low, it typically indicates a strong employment market. When people are employed, they tend to spend more, which benefits businesses and supports economic growth. Consider this: if you're contemplating a career change or planning to start your own business, low jobless claims can be encouraging. This indicates a strong labor market, which makes it easier to secure a new position or attract customers for your venture. But here are where things get interesting. While jobless claims are excellent for showing short-term trends, such as whether layoffs are increasing, they do not provide a complete picture of long-term employment health. For instance, during the technology boom in the late 1990s, jobless claims were relatively low. However, after the dot-com bubble burst in 2000, many people who believed they had secure employment suddenly found themselves unemployed. So while a steady decrease in jobless claims is generally positive, it does not always guarantee long-term economic stability. Historical context can provide valuable insights into understanding these trends. Let's take a look at some data from the past. In March 2020, when the pandemic began, weekly jobless claims surged to over 3 million, marking a record high in the United States. Before that, during the Great Recession of 2007-2009, we saw weekly jobless claims rise steadily from around 300,000 to a peak of over 614,000 in March 2009. These spikes in claims can be clear indicators of economic trends. But what about when the numbers start coming down? After the dot-com bubble burst in 2000 and the global financial crisis in 2008, once jobless claims started dropping consistently, it was a sign that the economy was recovering. Companies began hiring again, unemployment rates decreased, and people felt more secure about their job prospects. So how can understanding jobless claims and unemployment data be useful for educational purposes? Here are some ways to apply this knowledge. 1. Build an emergency fund. When jobless claims rise, having extra cash available can help cover unexpected expenses. Aim to save at least 3 months' worth of living expenses. Do diversify your income streams. Depending heavily on a single income source can be risky. Consider exploring additional ways to generate income to enhance financial stability. 3. Stay informed. Regularly monitor weekly jobless claims reports, as they provide valuable insights into the current state of the labor market, serving as a real-time economic indicator. 4. Plan for retirement early. Stable employment can make it easier to save consistently. Start thinking about your financial future now, rather than waiting until job instability becomes a concern. But here's another important truth. When jobless claims are low and stable, it often indicates a healthier economy. During such times, you might be in a better position to consider proactive financial actions like investing, taking on appropriate levels of risk, or planning for long-term savings goals like retirement. Let's bring it back home. Every Thursday morning when the initial jobless claims report is released, remember what these figures truly represent. They are not just abstract data. They reflect the real-life challenges and changes experienced by millions of workers across the country. So next time you see a sudden spike in jobless claims, take note. This could indicate an upcoming shift in the economy, potentially signaling economic weakness or recessionary pressures. It might be wise to reassess your financial situation and prepare for possible changes ahead. Remember, this information is for educational purposes only and should not be construed as personal financial advice. But when those numbers stay low and steady, it's a reassuring signal that the labor market is healthy, indicating that people are generally secure in their employment. In short, use these numbers as a tool to understand economic trends. They are not just about the past. They can also help you anticipate future conditions and make informed financial planning decisions. However, remember that these figures should be used for educational purposes only and do not constitute personal investment advice. This is educational and historical content, not financial advice. Do your own research and consult with a licensed professional for personalized guidance. Think of jobless claims as an indicator of economic health. Just as a healthy heart maintains a consistent rhythm, a robust labor market typically shows steady low levels in initial jobless claims. However, when this consistency falters, it can signal potential economic challenges ahead. For example, if you see a sharp spike in jobless claims during a specific month, ask yourself why. Was there a significant layoff at a large company? Did a major natural disaster hit an area with many jobs? Understanding the context can provide deeper insight into what's happening economically and socially. Another key point, while overall trends are important, regional differences can provide valuable insights. A spike in jobless claims in one city may not reflect the national economic situation. It's helpful to examine the data specific to your local area to identify any particular factors affecting your community or industry. Here's an important point. When the number of initial jobless claims drops significantly and remains low over several months, it often indicates a tight labor market where employers are eager to hire workers. This can be positive for job seekers, as companies may offer higher wages and better benefits to attract talent. However, it could also suggest inflationary pressures if wage growth exceeds productivity gains. On the flip side, when unemployment rates begin to rise, even slightly, it can signal a potential slowdown in economic activity. During such times, companies may become cautious about hiring new staff and might cut costs by letting go of temporary workers. This tendency is particularly pronounced during global events like pandemics or recessions. Jobless claims can provide insights into personal finance decisions. If you are considering switching jobs, high jobless claims may indicate a riskier employment environment and suggest waiting to secure your current position before making significant changes. Conversely, low jobless claims might signal a more stable labor market, giving you the confidence to explore new opportunities. Moreover, these numbers help you understand the broader economic environment when planning for retirement or major life changes. If the economy looks strong with steady employment figures, it is a good time to consider investing and saving more aggressively as part of your overall financial strategy. But during periods of high volatility in jobless claims, adopting a more conservative approach to investments might be prudent within your broader financial plan. Remember, while these numbers provide important insights, they don't tell the whole story. It's crucial to go beyond statistics by talking to people in your community, reading local news, and staying informed about industry trends to get a fuller picture of economic conditions. Subject: jobless claims and unemployment. Passage to fact check. In short, jobless claims are like a weather forecast for the economy. They can help you gauge potential shifts in economic conditions, such as increases or decreases in unemployment. Use them as one indicator among many when considering your broader financial strategy. This is educational and historical, not financial advice. Do your own research and talk to a licensed professional for personal guidance. High jobless claims often signal economic uncertainty, but it's important to remember that they don't capture the full picture. For example, many people may be underemployed or working part-time because they cannot find full-time work. These individuals aren't counted in jobless claims data, yet their financial struggles are real and significant. Additionally, regional differences are significant. A spike in jobless claims in one state may not mirror the situation in other areas. Therefore, it is important to take into account local economic conditions and specific labor market dynamics when interpreting these figures. For instance, during the early stages of the pandemic, particularly in 2020, we saw huge spikes in jobless claims as businesses shut down. However, once vaccines became available and economies began reopening, many people returned to work or found new jobs. But recovery wasn't uniform across all sectors or regions. Think about it: if you're an oil worker in Texas, your situation might be very different from that of a tech entrepreneur in San Francisco during the same period of high jobless claims. Understanding these differences can help you better understand economic trends and their impacts on various sectors and regions. In short, while jobless claims provide important economic signals, they do not offer a complete picture. Understanding local conditions and industry trends can help you gain a clearer perspective on your financial situation. This is educational and historical information, not financial advice. Please conduct your own research and consult with a licensed professional for personalized guidance.